This is the Lockpicking Lawyer, and today we're going to attempt something a bit different and more than a bit out of my comfort zone. Let me explain. This may look like a normal padlock, but it's actually a puzzle created by Sashko in the Czech Republic. He calls it Titan's Treasure, and it was sent to me by YouTube's Mr. Puzzle. I'll link to both of their channels in the description below. Now, I said this was out of my comfort zone, and that's because I've never really spent much time with puzzles, unless of course you count locks. But perhaps naively, I have high hopes for this particular one, and that's because it was created on my home turf. It's made out of a production padlock. I am very familiar with locks and their internal structures, but even better, I'm familiar with this particular model. I have one in my collection and in fact featured it in video number 366. Because of that, when I look at this puzzle, my eyes are immediately drawn to the changes that were made to the outside. I don't know if that'll be helpful, but I'm hopeful it will be. Now, this lock also came with a note from Mr. Puzzle. He tells me my task is to open up the lock and find the Titan's treasure, which seems to be this tiny little pearl. Apparently, I'm supposed to hide it again after I'm done as well. There are a few rules. I'm only allowed to use what comes with the puzzle, that is the padlock and the broken key. I don't know if this half of the key is included, but given the fact that it seems to be glued to the book, my guess would be no. Second rule, no bumping or violent force. Third rule, the hole on the front side containing the pin is not required to solve the puzzle. And my guess is he's referring to that right there. Mr. Puzzle tells me not to watch his video, which I've not done, and he also asks me to record part of the solving process. I'm not going to do that. I am going to record the entire solving process, unless of course it takes a really long time. He ends by saying, this is not a beginner puzzle. It's seriously difficult. So, folks, I may be in trouble here. All we can do is just dive right into it. Let's drop this little key out. And okay, there's something blocking the keyway, and it seems to be right about the depth of that hole, so presumably there's a rod that goes through. As I flip this, I can see there are little marks scribed into the bottom of that key. I don't know if that'll be useful later, but something to keep in mind. Let's see, if I shake that down, maybe the key will go in. Nope. I notice this one is sticking out just a little bit. The others are recessed below the surface. I wonder if I can take this out with the key. That doesn't seem to be going very well. Oh, maybe it is. I got it out just a little bit. Okay, maybe we can drop out whatever is blocking the keyway. And that seems to be the case. Now we only have part of a key here. And because this is a key that is not stopped on the tip, it's stopped on the bow, when I put this in, I should be careful not to over-insert it. Okay, I think that's inserted. And okay, we now have it unlocked. And that does nothing for getting the treasure out. Let's see if these help me unscrew the other Allen screws, and it seems like they are the perfect size for that. Behind this one, I see a little spring, and in fact, that is exactly what I would expect to see there, given that's where the pin chambers are. Let's try this one. Okay. Now, given what I know about the insides of these locks, the only place that pearl could be hidden is underneath the bottom of this end of the shackle. So we need to do something that will help us remove that. And it seems to be what they did was drill a hole through here, insert a spring and a detent, then this pin stops the spring from dropping all the way into the keyway. So we need to figure some way to push that detent back and remove the shackle entirely. I thought perhaps we could push it back from there, but that's not working. Maybe if we pull that spring a bit. No, that doesn't get me quite far enough. I don't see anything unusual or non-stock down that hole. Now normally what I would say is just to bang this on the table, hoping that the spring would compress along with the detent, and for a split second I could remove this. But I'm told no violent force can be used. Now they gave me 2 of these, and I've had no use to use more than 1 so far. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with this. Oh. Maybe I can take 2 bites at the apple here. Push part of the spring back, grab another part, pull it back, and maybe walk that detent out. Gosh, there's not a lot of room there. Is that enough? There we go. Oh. And here we go. There is the Titan's treasure. And if we look down that hole, we can see there is that little detent I guessed was in place. Okay, let's see if we can get this back together now. Thankfully I didn't take that out, so this whole thing didn't pop apart. Put that back in place. Hopefully I'm able to get that past the detent. But what I can do is push the detent down and then shove this past it. Okay, we got that into place. That should mean that I am done with this hole and that hole. So let's put our screws back into place before I have to get rid of these little bars. And if I remember, those were below the surface when I started. I don't know if it was significant that that one was slightly above the surface. Now we can lock this. Now getting the key out is going to... Oh, I see what they did. Okay, look at this. Remember I was talking about those little ridges in the bottom of the key? I bet I can use this to push the key out. Yep, that's exactly what it's for. Oh, that's clever. Okay, now that I have the key out, I can put these bars back where they came from. And screw that back in. Okay, folks, I think that was it. This was the Titan's Treasure. Mr. Puzzle, thank you very much for sending it my way. Sashko, really cool little puzzle. Thanks for sending it my way and for putting it together. To everyone else, if you do have any questions or comments about this, please put them below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Thank you.